First of all, I'd like to appreciate EUROKD and the staff, especially Sarah, who kindly coordinated for my paper to be accepted. Now, the title of my paper is A Cross-linguistic Study on the Reflection of Metadiscourse Markers in the Acknowledgement of the Iranian and Native English dissertations by Dina, Zakeri, and Fazlullah Samimi. I am Dina Zakeri. Right now, I am a PhD student of TEFL. My earlier studies were in the field of translation studies, and I am the founder of a translation office in Tehran. I translate English and German languages, and I am a TIAT affiliate. The acknowledgement section in a thesis or dissertation is to thank the people who have helped in the process of doing the research. So they authorize the writer to thank all those who assisted in a way to write the paper. This should be done to establish relationship with the readers. There are a number of ways to achieve this, but for this paper, we have selected Highland's model of thanking move, because there is no doubt that many writers fail to establish an understandable relationship by doing so. For the literature review, I have selected the notions of 5 researchers. Connor, 1996, contended that each language has its own unique rhetorical conventions. Thus, it might be safe to conclude that the rhetorical patterns of a text written in different languages would not be necessarily identical. Kampf, 2000, found that modality markers and its subparts like hedges, emphatics, and attributors are related to interpersonal function of metadiscourse. Abdullahzadeh, 2007, reported that the writers of text utilized metadiscourse to organize his or her text and convey their personality, credibility, and consideration of the reader. Al-Yusuf, 2015, explored the use of metadiscourse markers in 3 multimodal management reports. The results showed a high frequency of interactive and interactional markers in the orthographic text compared with a lack of implicit interactive markers and high frequency of implicit interactional markers in the tables and graphs. Ahmadi, 2016, examined the use of 5 types of interactive metadiscourse together with their subtypes in a corpus of 330 research articles represented in 6 academic disciplines, and found that frame markers strategy was the mostly occurred strategy in applied linguistics. For this study, we have excluded emotional moves, cultural backgrounds, and thinking moves. At the same time, Highland's model of interactive and interactional metadiscourse markers have been applied as the theoretical framework. The research questions we tried to answer through this study were: number 1, what is the frequency of interactive metadiscourse features in the acknowledgement of dissertations? And number 2, what is the frequency of interactional metadiscourse features in the acknowledgement of dissertations? For the instrumentation part of the methodology, as I said earlier, Highland's model of metadiscourse and Highland's 4-tier main obligatory thanking move for writing acknowledgements have been applied. The corpus for this study is consisted of the acknowledgements of 90 dissertations, 45 written by Iranian PhD graduates and 45 written by native speakers within the years 2015 to the end of 2019, before the spread of COVID-19 pandemic late December that year. The dissertations were selected only from EFL disciplines, that is teaching methodology, translation studies, and English literature, to prevent structural ambiguities endangering grammar widely seen in other courses of studies. The data collection procedure for this study had 3 stages. In the first stage, we collected EFL doctoral dissertations from websites and also from the National Library of Iran, located in Tehran under tough restrictions due to the pandemic. In the second stage, we collected identical level dissertations written by native speakers from other websites, and finally, in the third stage, the metadiscourse items were extracted, tabulated, and the quantitative analysis in the percentile tabulation was conducted. The results. The frequency of interactive features used by Iranians and English native speakers revealed that Iranians have used endeavoric markers nearly 1% higher than native speakers, and native speakers have used transitions 0.5% more than Iranians. The tendency of employing transitions more than the other features by both groups is quite evident, and there is no indication of using evidentials or code classes in both groups. The use of frame markers less than 1% by both groups could also be considered negligible. The categorical distribution of interactive features overall used by Iranians and English native speakers showed that the use of transitions stands well over 50%, while frame markers fall under 10%. In the foreign markers take the middle ground by 35%, which implies that both groups used about 1/3 the numbers of whole features in this category. Evidentials and code classes take no place in the acknowledgement writings of neither group. The frequency of interactional features used by Iranians and English native speakers confirmed that native speakers have never employed hedges, and the use of boosters and attitude markers tend to 0 in this group. Of course, this does not mean that Iranians have outnumbered the other group using these features, because the figures fall far below 1%. However, the use of attitude markers by Iranians is nearly 10 times as much as English native speakers. Self-mentions have been extensively used by Iranians and English native speakers, although the 0.4% difference is rebuffed. The categorical distribution of interactional features overall used by Iranians and English native speakers demonstrated that the largest share of interactional metadiscourse features used both by Iranians and native speakers are found in self-mentions, while engagement markers is the portion neither group was inclined to use in the writings of acknowledgements. The minuscule attitude markers have been the second main feature prevalent among Iranian writers of acknowledgement for dissertations. Both groups applied boosters not more than 5% altogether, giving it the third grade among features. The implications of the study I want to notify here is that 1. The findings of the present study will be valuable for EFL teachers and students to resolve writing problems arising out of intercultural differences. And number 2, the study can also be beneficial for translation experts who persist to transfer culture-bound ideas, even being apparently as trivial as a thinking move without considering its resonance in target language. I've got some suggestions for further research at the end. Further researches could be done in areas other than acknowledgements, such as business correspondences, newspaper editorials, and the like, where creative writing is needed, and the results of which will illuminate contrasts in the use of metadiscourse features in English writings. Similarly, the changes in rhetorical devices encountered in the process of translating political, social, or technical texts to or from English could also be another area of study. Thank you, EUROKD, for providing me with this valuable opportunity. Thank you, everyone. You have been this much lovely to be patient and listening to me. I hope you have found the results both useful and interesting.